so excited to be here today with Tonya Step. She is an incredible independent agent with Universal Wealth and a mom and just an awesome person, human entrepreneur. So I'm going to let her share a little bit. Would you tell us a little more about what you do and kind of your journey of how you came to do what you do?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm an independent licensed life and health insurance agent. I help people with their financial literacy. We teach people about finances, how money works, and things like that. I got started, this was actually kind of a COVID thing. I found myself at home a lot during the beginning of COVID because coming from the dental field, I quickly learned that teledentistry doesn't work. And so I was home a lot. And I was introduced to this as a business opportunity. And my original thought was something that I can do while I'm at home. I can get my license and then just work part-time on this while working full-time at my job when we were able to go back to the office. And then sidestep into this as a full-time thing when my boss decides to retire. I've come to love it so much that I'm actually hoping to retire from the dental field here hopefully within the next year, and go full time as a business owner and entrepreneur. And my passion has become just to help people learn about money, to figure out they are currently, where they want to be, and then teach them how to get to where they want to be. One of my biggest components of that passion is teaching, especially youngsters, teenagers. I have teenagers that are, going to be going out into the real world in college here within the next year or two, and I don't want them to fall into the trap of student loans and credit card debt that most of us as Gen Xers or millennials did, so that they can start their adult life on a better footing than I did. So
Yeah. I think that's so important. And we're seeing more and more as the economy is changing, the world is changing, so many things are shifting, that it's become a really big stress, I think, for a lot of people. And of course, not a lot of people like to really talk about it a lot, which is why I wanted to do this episode, because that's something that I feel passionate about as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as someone who's had to build something from nothing. I
mhm.
know what that feels like to feel like the paychecks are not making it. You're not making it paycheck to paycheck, right? I have been there. We have been there, and it takes a lot of intentionality, learning, educating yourself, finding the right agents and support, mentorship, financial mentorship, and things, to really figure that all out. And sometimes it's a little bit of like working smarter, not harder, looking at how you can diversify. People talk about diversify your investments. Well, also we sometimes need to diversify your income, right? Things like that.
Yes.
Ways of building extra streams of income, those kinds of things. But I think in the past, so much of what I heard growing up was save, 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 never spend anything, pinch every single penny, never buy anything, never have fun. You probably can't afford vacations unless you're rich or whatever. Like these kinds of things. And it's strange, and it's kind of interesting to analyze. Over the years, I've realized like there's a lot of mindset things that I've had to work on that didn't really realize. And I think that that's well intentioned. And there's a time and a place where, yes, you do need to save. And there's a time and a place where, of course, budgeting is important. Of course, savings is important. Yes. But there's also like the other side of the coin where, it's just like with our health. And so many of my episodes, we've talked about health, where if we live in a state of deprivation for too long, eventually our brain will sabotage us. And if you think about this when it comes to your health, dieting, exercise, whatever it is in any area, you live in that deprived, these extreme diets or whatever it is, or financially, what ends
Yeah.
up happening? All of a sudden, you find yourself impulse buying something, right?
Hmm.
All of a sudden, your brain starts sabotaging. And if it comes to health, right, it's like you find yourself eating a whole box of cookies or, fill in the blank, whatever it is. And that is because our mind, our brain cannot live that way for very long. Yeah, you can do it for a
Right.
short amount of time. Some people are, it depends, but I've seen that and it is a what's the term I'm looking for, lack mentality, a scarcity
Mhm.
mentality. It is a scarcity mentality. And
Yeah.
when you really think about it, if you are operating that way in your finances, yeah, you might be able to save some, you might be able to make some progress and things, but eventually you're going to come to a breaking point.
Yeah.
And you can do that. And I love Dave Ramsey and all of that. That's great stuff, like really, really good stuff. But there is another piece to the puzzle, I think, that's being missed sometimes that, yeah, you can pinch, 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 save, 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 save. But at the end of the day, if the cost of living is becoming so high and your income is not really changing a whole lot, like what, $1 a year maybe or something, but the inflation, the economy, all of that is going up, 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 and your income is fairly static, you're going to have an issue no matter how much you
Yeah.
save, no matter how hard you work. And I'm all 100% for working hard and all of those things. We have to start looking at other options and other ways. And I think I love this conversation because of that. And what you do is such a huge, huge part of that. So will you share your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, there's so many ways I can go with that. Going back to the multiple streams of income, most people don't realize that multiple streams of income does not necessarily mean multiple jobs. It's where you can put your money so that your money actually works for you, not you working for your money. Um, you know, Coming into this and learning this, being a there's I'm going to go back to it, the cash flow quadrant. There's four places you can be. You can be an employee where you trade your time for money. You can be a business owner, which at this point in time I'm a business owner. I still trade my time for money, but it's my schedule. I'm not punching a clock for someone else, I'm punching it for myself. But if I don't go to work, I don't get paid. And then there's the business, or I think I did that wrong. That's the self-employed. Then there's the business owner, someone who owns a system, such as the Starbucks franchise owner. He doesn't necessarily have to go to the franchise, make the coffee to make money. He's got the employees to do that. And then there's the fourth quadrant, which is where I am working towards being, and that's the investor, where I'm putting money into places that my return is greater than what I'm necessarily putting in, because money is constantly working for me. That's the real estate investor, someone who maybe owns, multiple um, real estate investment opportunities, multiple apartment complexes where they don't have to be at the apartment complex renting out the apartments, fixing up the apartments. They have people that they can pay to do that. Um, the beauty of it is money never sleeps. So you've got to find ways that your money continually works for you so that you're not working for your money. Um, and then another way I can go is, people, so many people right now are worried that they're gonna outlive their money. And it comes to one of the statistics that I just read recently, is that less than 1/3 of current adults are confident that their retirement savings are going to last. Um, Most of them are going to, unless they find ways to bolster their retirement income, um, they're going to outlive their retirement. And then those people are the ones that end up on Medicaid, um, living in nursing homes that they're not getting the care that they need. So what used to be, people think that they've got $1 million saved for retirement. that they should be able to do that. Well, with the cost of inflation, that's not nearly enough for most people to live because depending on where they have their money, if it's a taxed deferred account, they're going to pay taxes when they start taking that money out. And unfortunately, at this point in time, I only think that the tax rates are going to increase. Taxes are going to increase so that you're going to get less of your money when you withdraw it than what you have. So, for instance, if the tax rate is, 50% and you have $1 million, suddenly that $1 million is only 500,000. So, there's big places big places of lack and of deficit that we need to overcome when we are talking to patient clients about where they can put their money, how they can make their money work for them.
Yeah, and again, it comes back to how we think about it. And I think the average person, especially in our generations, kind of grew up with a little bit of that scarcity mindset for the average, household. And it can be a little tricky, a little challenging to flip around thinking like, oh, well, I can't afford to invest. I can't afford insurance, life insurances or other types of, IRAs and all these kinds of things. Like, because we just think of, I think a lot of people think of this just big number, whatever it is, $200 a month, $100 a month, what, like fill in the blank, whatever it is. And then it's like, there's no way. Well, hang on, hold the phone, because if you really think about it, the average American spends an average of $9 to $10 a day on fast, convenient coffee, energy drinks, fast food, or some
Yep.
combination thereof, or snacky like the chips from the vending, or like, whatever, all those kinds of
Yep.
stuff. And I'm not saying you can never ever do that. But if you really think about it and you really start being intentional about shifting some of those areas, maybe instead of doing that daily or 3 times a week or whatever it might be for you, everyone's going to like actually sit down and look at it. Be honest with yourself because you have an average of $150 to $200 of that type of impulse buying in your budget. And that's just in the food category. That's
Yes.
not in the, I went to the grocery store, I went to Walmart, I went to whatever it was, and I went for like, I don't know, eggs and toilet paper, but I left with this was on sale, that was on sale, this was in the dollar section, this, oh,
Yep.
whoops, 7,500, 70, not 7,500, $75, $100 later or more,
Yep.
give or take, right?
Yep.
Whoops, there's another at least $100 a month. Yeah, it's kind of spread out. So that is the thing. That's where it's the mindset thing of it is we have to sit down and really be honest with ourselves on where those little things are happening and just even if we cut that in half, right?
Yep.
So again, we're not doing the completely deprived, complete scarcity mentality deal where we're like, we can never ever do anything, but we're just being intentional and we're like looking at it and being like, okay, if I could just do that half the amount that I was doing, I'm going to have at least $100 a month to put into something that's really important, like an investment or an insurance or my health or whatever it is. And I think, not enough people really sit down and look at those things. And it just kind of happens without really realizing.
Yeah. And the beauty of it is, most of us don't realize that a lot of people don't want to think about life insurance because that means you're starting to think about death. They're scared to think about mortality, but when it comes to life insurance, you are never going to be as young and healthy as you are today. You may in my case, a year from now, I may be in a healthier situation, but I'm going to be a year older. The younger and healthier you are, the less expensive, less costly insurance can be. And I have options that I can look into for people that can be as little as maybe 20, 25 to $30 a month. Um, so if you take that and let's go back to the coffee situation. Instead of spending $5 to $10 a day just on coffee running through the drive-through, I have learned that I can make darn near the same thing at home for pennies on the dollar. Um, I buy it, okay, yes. I like the pods, the coffee pods. I make my coffee with a pod, and I put a little bit of creamer and a little bit of my specific um, flavored syrup in there. And yes, I have to make it myself instead of having someone make it for me, but I'm maybe spending 30 cents a cup instead of $5 a cup. So I take that rest of it that's left over and I invest it in myself, into my future, into not just my future, but my kids' future. Because if I am able to put life insurance in place for me and something happens to me, my family benefits. Yes, I'm no longer going to be here, which then therefore means my income is no longer going to be here. So then I look at my husband and my kids. They're going to be missing me, but they're not necessarily going to be missing my income because my life insurance provided that for them. And a lot of people don't think of it that way. And so that is what I educate, um, parents, young kids on what life insurance can actually provide.
I love that. It really is one of the smartest ways to kind of invest in the future and be able to provide that for your family, no matter what. And like she said, if you start young, the younger, the healthier you are, the better. It's going to be a lot cheaper. It's not going to be as much, which is huge. There are different options. So of course, that's why someone like Tonya is so helpful, because she's going to help walk you through what are the best choices and options for you and your family and all of that stuff. I love that. So important. And I just really think it's really huge to step back, really evaluate your mindset around your financial scenario, because sometimes I think people feel really stuck. Like, I can't work any more hours, I only have so much. And while on one, category that might be true, there's sometimes other options that we just don't really know about or understand fully, or feel like they're out of reach, but they might not be. So I encourage you to make sure you reach out, talk to Tonya. And you can connect with her. You can actually email her at tanyastep.elite@gmail. I'll put it at the bottom too for you guys. If you want to set up, you can actually set up a free financial consultation, and she can walk through some options and just kind of give you some helpful tips and figure out what's going to be good options for you. And of course, also with the Universal Wealth and Synergy, WIP.com, if you just want to, find information and learn some more, you can connect there. Any final thoughts as we wrap up?
Um, no, I think, thank you for your time and thank you for, the connection that we've made over the last year and a half, or I think it's almost 2 years now. I can't believe it. And just, the upbuilding in our faith and how we have been able to grow as sisters in Christ and, just get to know each other and being able to provide this opportunity to other people that they can hear, what possibilities are out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad that I've gotten to know you as well. It's been amazing, and just it's really awesome to have, collaboration partnership with friends that are also entrepreneurs, fellow moms, and know what it's like. That's the other piece, I think, with someone that's going to come alongside you in your process, in your journey with your financial health and well-being too, is someone that can relate, right? Because there's all different things, all different categories of people, and so I think that's huge. And I love, Tonya, how you do that. And you have such great care and compassion and understanding, and that you bring the element of faith in as well, which is, I think, huge, because of course that encouragement is really important. And right, Christ is the foundation of everything. So it's all his to begin with. So of course things like, donating and giving are big parts of all of that as well. So if you had just like one or two little favorite tips that you could share with people on something that would help them with their financial well-being, what would be your top like one or two things that you would share with someone?
Well, one, find a good advisor. Someone that you trust, someone that you um, can reach out to, someone who's going to provide a relationship with you for the next, not just to put something in place, but for the next, several 20s plus years, because life insurance and investing and things like that are not just a one and done type of thing. A good advisor should follow with you step by step over the next, lifetime, however long it takes. And then one, know where you're at financially, know where you want to get to, and then find that person that can help you get to achieve your goals. Um, and then thirdly, going back to the multiple streams of income, it's not necessarily multiple jobs, but find ways to make your money work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you soon.
All
Take,
right. Yes, me too.
all right. See ya.